Hi everyone, it's Arlene again, and I hope you're looking forward to today's project. It's going to be a fun little make and take using a straw to do our painting. We're going to be painting a feather, and we're going to be, of course, using Duncan's 04 Bisque. So as we get started here, let's have some fun. Let me turn the camera down. Okay, let me see if I can get you a little more in the center. There we go. So here's the finished piece that we're going to be doing. I think I need to leave it flat so you don't get the glare. But this is a feather from Duncan, and let me see, just one second. It is 38245 is the Duncan feather. I know a lot of people seem to think this was a leaf, but it's not. It's an actual feather. Duncan does have a bisque leaf that's similar shape to this that you could do, and you could use leaf colors or autumn colors on the leaf as well. So this particular technique we can do with many different colors on different pieces. But the thing you need to remember, it needs to be something that's flat so that you can actually blow the paint with a straw. So let's set the piece aside for right now. And like I said, we're going to be using Duncan's 04 Bisque. We're also going to be using a straw. And these are straws that I got in the store. If you are someone who doesn't have a lot of lung capacity, if you go to like a Jack in the Box or McDonald's or one of those places and get a drink from them, they have the bigger straws that are bigger around than this one, so you wouldn't have to have quite as much wind to blow. But you know me, guys, I'm a windbag, so I don't have a problem. You're also going to need a sponge, water. You're going to need a Duncan SB802 #1 liner. You're going to need a Duncan 807 #6 fan glaze brush. And the concepts we're using tonight are going to be 244 really white, 253 black, 302 bright Caribbean, and 373 dark honeysuckle. And again, I have put those into squeeze bottles. Just makes it a little easier. They don't have to be in squeeze bottles. You could put them in you know, a little paper cup, as long as you can bend. And I would say paper cup so you can bend it so you could pour it a little easier if you're going to do it that way. So what we're going to do first is kind of like the project we did the other day with the straw. Because we don't want our paint to soak in, I'm going to take a really wet sponge and I'm going to really wet the piece down. Okay, it actually does two purposes. It gets the dust off of it, plus it also keeps the paint from grabbing and soaking in so it won't move. We want the paint to be able to move, otherwise we'd be blowing our brains out. Or I would be, I guess. But if I can do this, guys, you can do it too, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, let me move this a little bit closer here. Let's see if I can go maybe just a little bit. Okay, that's as close as I can get it, okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white, okay? And as we've done in the past when we did the napkin technique, remember we put white on, but this time we're only going to do white on half of the piece. So I'm going to do one half, because if I did both halves, the white would dry too much. Okay, so I'm going to just put this on really good. I'm sure you guys can see that. Of course, you're going to wet your brush in water first, and then taking your brush, you're going to pull it out to the edge. And you notice how I'm kind of tipping the feather so that my paint won't roll back down into the center. I got a little bit on this side, so let me just wipe that off there. Okay, now let the fun begin. Now here's the thing you have to remember, because when we blow, we want the paint to go this direction with the definition of the feather. So we need to hold it and blow this direction. So I'm going to turn it just a little bit. Now you can start with blue first or pink first, because you've already got white on there, so you don't need the white. So you can do blue and pink, or pink first, or you can stagger them. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to do one side one way, and I'll do the other side the other way so you can see the difference between the two. So on this side, I'm going to put the pink down first. And I'm going to do these kind of in sections. So there's the pink. Oops, didn't want to do the top here. Okay. And here's the blue, or the turquoise, or Caribbean, whatever color you want to call it. Okay, now I'm going to take my straw, and remember I said I'm going to blow this direction. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to turn a little bit so I can get this little piece up here. Okay. Now I want you to keep blowing until, so that you don't have a whole lot of paint build up. You want to get the paint off the plate as much as you can. So just keep tilting it. Oh, excuse me, guys, gotta grab my hand under there. I'm hoping you guys can see that move. Okay, so I've got most of the paint off, so now I'm going to take my pink again. I'm going to put some pink down here. And I'm going to put blue. And make sure you hold it up so that you don't scrape the white top, okay? Then we're going to do the same thing again. Okay, then we're going to do, excuse me, the last little section here. Oops, just knocked that bottle over. Okay. All right, now we're going to do the same thing again. Now you can see here where you can see a little bit of the white. That's because the white was heavier there, which you can leave it, or you can put more blue or pink on. I actually kind of think that's kind of nice. You could actually go back. If you like the white, you could actually go back in a few places, just kind of put a little bit of white. So it's kind of up to you guys how you like the look of that. Let me see if I can get this closer into the camera so you can see. So if you like the white, where I added the white, you can go back and add some white in some areas where you like that at, okay? So now I'm going to turn this around because I need to do the other side. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to start with the white. And then with my fan brush, I'm going to kind of pull it out. Don't worry about getting white on the piece in the center of the feather, because we're going to paint that black. I think they call that the spine of the feather. Okay, so then I'm going to go back. Now on this one, I'm going to do it differently so you can see the difference between the two. This one I put the pink down and I didn't put the blue down. This one I'm going to put the blue down first. Okay. And then some pink. And then we're going to blow. Let me go this way first. So you can see how the difference between the pink first and then the blue first. You have more blue in the center. But here's what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to continue with doing the blue first. I'm going to do just the opposite right here. I'm going to put some pink down, and then I'm going to put some blue down. So it's just the opposite of what it was. Right there. Okay, now we're going to go a blow again. So now you can see the difference where it kind of varies it a little bit. Let me see, I want to make sure I can get this in where you can see it. Okay? Which I kind of like. I think I like it a little better than doing all one and then the other. So now we're going to go back with the blue. And then the pink. Okay, here we go. Whoops, let me move it back so I don't blow it out on my computer. There. See, I kind of like how this white is here, right here a little bit. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to put a little bit of white right here. Right up close to the spine again. See if I can get that same look. No, not quite. So here's, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to put a little bit of pink down. And we're going to put a little bit of blue down. And then we're going to blow. Okay, so the one thing you want to make sure before you set it back down, if you set it down flat like this and you see the paint's beginning to move back to the center, it means you haven't blown it off enough. So you want to go back and blow it off some more. I am not happy with how this looks right here. So you can go back and add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You know, it's up to you. Yeah, that looks pretty good. What do you think, guys? I think that looks pretty good. I know it's kind of hard to, let me see if I can get this underneath the camera with there's not too much glare on it, okay? So I'm kind of happy with that. So now we're done with the straw. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that this piece dries. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your liner brush and of course some black on a palette, and you are going to paint the center or the spine of the feather with 2 coats of black. And you use a liner brush and you don't hold the liner brush up on its tip like we normally do. You want to hold it more flat so you get a fatter line. I think I can show you a little bit. Hang on, I want to put something down so, because we're going to, before we do anything, I want you to see the back. You can see how messy, wait, let me see if you can see that there. See how messy the back is? So before you do anything with the back, you want to make sure that you take your sponge and clean that back off. But I'm going to do a little bit of the spine so that you can see what I did. It's, you know, dry enough back further here. You want to make sure you're going to have plenty of time at home, folks, so you can make sure that it's a lot drier than what mine is right here, okay? So let me see if I need to move this up a little closer for you. I think I did right there. So I'm going to add just a couple of drops of water just to make sure that it flows off my brush good. And remember, don't mix your paint with your brush. Use a palette knife. The brushes are too expensive to be mixing paint with them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is going to take and load our brush, and this time I don't have to worry about that nice fine tip because I want my brush to be fatter and be able to do. So I'm going to set my brush and I'm going to do one side. So I'm going to set my brush down here and I'm going to do this one side. Okay. And you notice I'm resting my hand on the side here so my hand don't shake quite so bad. And of course, like I said, you want to make sure your piece is good and dry before you do this, so you don't have paint all over your hands. So you want to make sure that you do this completely, 2 coats. And I actually did the back of my feather black, but you could leave it white if you wanted to after you've cleaned it off. Okay. Let me see if I can go like this because that's really wet on that side. Just nice and gently go down that center. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe if I put my finger underneath. Yeah, see, that's still a little bit wet there, so make sure you let your ears dry, folks, okay? So that you don't have this issue that I'm having with it still being wet. But at least this gives you an idea of what it is I do. Once I have this side done, then I turn it around, okay, so that the side that I want to stay close to the feather is towards me so I can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to stick my hand here, and I'm going to turn my hand a little bit so you can see, and then I'm going to go down this side. Okay, I'm not going to do a whole lot more because it's really wet right here. But I want to get to the point where I can show you how I did the edge of the feather, and I can do it on this one side because this one side's dry enough. It's just the other side that's not. Okay? So that kind of gives you an idea of how to do the spine. Let me get the paint off my hands. So now I want to show you how I did the edge of the plate. So if I bring the plate back up here, you can see how it's kind of feathered. The black is kind of feathered. So here's the one plate that's the one that's just the 2 colors with the white underneath. This is one that I did a while back, which was done with the white, added the white on the top, okay? But you can see the feathering on the edge of the plate with the black, so it looks like it's feathered. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to do that with a fan brush. Okay, so let me turn this way, I think. If I go this way, I think you guys can see what I'm doing. And with the fan brush, let me get some water in it. Let me wipe the water out. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys can see how I'm loading the brush. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to pull the color. I don't have a whole lot of paint on the brush, okay? So you can see that, you know, it's like not sloppy with paint. It's just barely painted because you want to do what I kind of call like dry brushing. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to just pull in. Start just gently and going a little bit. And that's why I did the back of mine black, so I didn't have to worry about whether I got black on the back or didn't get black on the back. Okay, load the brush again. Okay, so now this time I'm going to come in a little further. Oh, excuse me, I got to scratch my nose. But I'm kind of flipping the brush. So flipping it. So you get that, you know how we tell you don't flip the brush because you get those little hairy marks? Well, this time we want hairy marks because we want it to look like it's a feather. So we're going to just pull it in. And we got to turn this just a little bit, guys. Just one sec. Maybe if I tilt it a little bit, you can see too. Let me try this way. Trying to get it where you guys can see good. There we go. So you can see I'm flipping the brush. Then what I did is I went back, and where there's like an indentation on the side here, you can see right here where there's more of an indentation, I just kind of went like this and pulled a little bit more inside there. Okay, so that's how you do the, I hate it because when I look at the camera, it looks like I need to go one way and I need to go the opposite way. One of these days I'll figure it out. So there you can see how I did the edge. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to tell you the only thing you have to do now, remember when it dries, you got to go back and wash all this nasty stuff off the back. And of course mine's really nasty because I set it down inside the paint that's here on my doggy pad. So let me raise this camera back up and get some of this stuff out of the way so I don't stick my hands in it. There. So what you're going to do is you're going to let this dry. I would let it dry overnight, and you actually don't have to put any clear glaze on the top because we've got enough paint on the top that it will be shiny, but you are going to need to put either clear glaze on the back after you've cleaned it off, or like I did on mine. Let me show you. Let's see here. Mine's black on the back. Oh, I got paint on this one too. Mine's black on the back, okay? So you can do it with black on the back. And if you put 3 coats of Concepts black on the back of it, you don't need to put any clear glaze on it either. Again, I said, you know, you can use whatever colors you want. You know, red and white feathers with black would be good. I mean, there's like endless amounts of colors you can use. You can use shades of brown. You know, I mean, there's no telling because feathers come in all different shapes and colors and all kinds of things. So just have fun with it. Like I said, if you want to do a leaf, Duncan has, and I can't tell you right off the top of my head, but it's their their seasonal bloom series. It's the long, I think it's the bread plate that's a leaf. And you could do that in either colors of spring, which would be greens and yellows, or you could use autumn colors, which would be oranges and reds and yellows and browns. So anyway, I hope you had a great time. I know I always do. I look forward to seeing you when we do the next one, and I'll probably have the instructions for this posted sometime tonight or tomorrow morning, and it'll be in the file section on my Facebook page. So have a good night, everybody. Have fun, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.